meditation was never for well-being. So a lot of the spiritualities are all about just finding peace in your life, like reducing stress, reducing anxiety, which is all great. It's all great. But those practices of just trying to find a really safe life in which you're very comfortable, they're not going to really ever fundamentally address the root causes and issues that are these things. And trust me, I more than anyone else has used those practices in the past just to try to get a full breath. You know, when you have that anxiety and you can't even breathe, I've been there. So, but what I want to talk about today is what meditation really does. So a lot of people who meditate, who've really put an effort into it for a period of months or years, a lot of them might say, my life was easier when I didn't meditate. So it would seem that meditation was the catalyst in which a newfound intensity has come into their life, and I'll explain why. When you meditate, you're essentially you are dropping into and I'm referring to a silent witness meditation. I'm not talking about any guided or visualization meditations. In my opinion, this is the most fundamental meditation, just being with what is arising in your present experience. All of the body sensations, the mind functions, they're all equally, none of them have a higher value than the others. They're just very interesting that they are arising, but they need not take any more value than others. So essentially, these structures in your consciousness will begin to get louder. By resting in awareness, you're beginning to shine more light, more awareness, they're the same thing, the light of awareness, on the structures in your consciousness. Okay? Now, ideally, you would like to be able to rest as pure witness, unbound, just complete emptiness. That is the goal. But you cannot be attached to that goal whatsoever, because that will be a doing that will essentially undo your meditation practice. So whatever is arising is going to get much louder. You're going to likely, and this is not, you know, this is not necessary for everybody, but what's going to happen is there's going to be resistance to what is. This is what the friction, this is the karma, this is the energetic part of you that is not open, is open as it could be. And this is what the meditation is shining light on. So then when you step into your life, you'll have more awareness of the ways you close yourself from being open. So I'm addressing two things here. There is a horizontal line, there's a developmental line, which is the ways in which we close ourselves and resist certain aspects of who we are. Because that's all essentially the meditation essentially is going to bring you to who you are. So this is this line, okay? And then there's this other line, which is going up. And this line is the ability now to begin to actually witness, because you're cultivating witness consciousness. This line will help you begin to see the structures that are in place, the forms that are in place in your consciousness. So there are these seemingly two things. There's this empty witness, and then there are structures that are arising in consciousness. Some are useful, some are not useful. But what the meditation, and when I say structures, I mean the human body is a structure. The flower, you can't see this, is a structure. Everything that is form is a structure in place. The thought form is a structure. The thought pattern is a structure in consciousness. Now, don't see all structures as bad, because consciousness is creating the structures, and it actually needs them to create form, to create life. But some of them are very limiting and are obstructing life from fully expressing itself, which is this developmental line in which I would say where the healing occurs, but the healing also occurs horizontally as you become more of who you are, become more aware of who you are, coming back into God, and that is healing as well. So it's both ways. So anyways, what I was saying was meditation is essentially you begin to transcend the structures. So you so what is really helpful is at some point in your practice, you're practicing yoga, you're practicing whatever you do, Tai Chi, meditation, self-observation. At some point, you develop an ego awareness, which is a huge step in the vertical line of beginning to transcend reality, really. And essentially, you have this ego awareness, and you begin to see the structures in which how the ego begins to give you a sense of identity, which is what it is designed to do. It will always do that. So don't, and then we begin to resist the ego. We want to begin to accept it, which is what the witness is doing always, anyways. But the ego is the one that's not accepting. So yeah, I hope that this video brought you a little bit of clarity, possibly, on the meditation process, maybe the healing process, and what to expect. And why I originally made this video, getting back to that, was that meditation will make life become a little more intense. There'll be more awareness on these very uncomfortable things. You need to be willing to feel them fully, or you might as well give up the meditation practice. Be willing to feel the insecurity, the pain, the shame, the anger, and then of course be willing to feel your joy and your happiness as well, because those are part of the spectrum of life as well. And I actually wanted to add one more thing. So this is my opinion, but I wouldn't meditate unless spiritual awakening is the #1 first priority in your life. Because it will bring all of it up. It's going to bring up all the karma. And if you're not willing to completely feel the intensity of all your pain, then it's going to create, it's going to make your life very, very hard. And another thing I wanted to say is that you don't have to do it alone. There are tremendously skilled practitioners that have already kind of done this process, and there are all sorts of modalities, and they can help you with seeing the structures in your consciousness more clearly. So, and that can be, a paid type person, like a paid practitioner, or it could also be a sangha, like a group or friend. It's important to have maybe at least a spiritual friend in which you can share these things that are coming up for you in your day. A sangha is even better, which is kind of like a community of practitioners that are willing to be open and honest and authentic. And have intensity together, which is very very rare. These friends and sanghas. So if you happen to live in a conscious area of the country, that's pretty amazing. There are digital sanghas even starting, phone based, which is kind of, I would say, a step down for sure than person. But you got to take what you can get. And also, of course, the other thing is. There's the teacher. I think it's important to have a teacher. It actually, no, I don't think, I know it is. Because you're navigating a path that is very unfamiliar to our culture, and you can get lost and confused. And to have someone who's a little bit further ahead on the path, or who's realized God completely and is grounded in an emptiness, a master, these beings, these people are important. They will point you in the right direction. They'll show you where you're stuck. You don't have to do it alone. Of course, the practice of self-introspection is so important. Journaling is very helpful with that as well. But really, a lot of the shadow elements in the body, mind, personality arise in relationship. So you may actually can be able to really enter a nice meditation even when you're alone and feel completely at ease and at peace, and then suddenly you go to work or you go into the grocery store or whatever, and suddenly you're an anxiety ball or something. And that's what I'm talking about, these interpersonal, interrelational dynamics that are so important. And anyways, I spoke for way longer than I wanted to. Thank you.